built just off the bank of the Roanoke River, sometime around 1919, our Hamilton Rosenwald School educated black children in the local community until 1960, when it was replaced by a new school. No longer needed, the old school was acquired by a local family who used it as a warehouse for their downtown mercantile until donating it to Preservation, North Carolina in 1999. Today, backed by the local community, Roanoke River Partners is leading the effort to preserve this building and its legacy, assuring that this historic site will once again serve as a center for community activity, this time as the much-anticipated Rosenwald River Center. If you are familiar with the Rosenwald legacy, you know that as a result of the purposeful partnership forged between Booker T. Washington, founder of the Tuskegee Institute, and Julius Rosenwald, philanthropist and president of Sears and Roebuck, the education of young black children across the southern United States was dramatically transformed. One of the most rewarding aspects of our Hamilton Rosenwald project has been the opportunity to share this story with people hearing it for the first time. In particular, those whose lives were directly affected by this partnership, but who until recently were not aware of the personal role it played in their own lives, or that this educational legacy intimately connected them to thousands of others across the southern United States who shared in this experience. Since acquiring this historic site in 2007, Roanoke River Partners has been collaborating with the surrounding community to preserve the school, formerly known as the Hamilton Colored School, as well as its rich legacy. Engaging the community in this project has not been difficult, since the desire to save this historic structure originated within the local community. After the purchase of the building, Roanoke River Partners and their collaborators got busy identifying and applying for compatible funding to renovate and preserve this piece of regional history. One of our first steps was to identify those within the community that had personal knowledge of this celebrated school and its history. A volunteer researcher agreed to work with the community to uncover both the documented and previously undocumented history of this institution. Early in this process, the researcher was linked to 4 sisters that had attended the school and that were still in touch with many former students who now lived out of state. The bridge that formed with these former Hamilton students has been the critical link to connecting alumni from the school to the current preservation project.
When we got there, then we had the merry-go-rounds and the seesaw, and we had the slides. And that's what we would do. After waiting for our friends and we all get to the school before the bell would ring, we would play outside.
But I remember there was an old tree on the right-hand side, and it had these very thick vines. And then you had a little ditch, and the boys, I don't remember the girls doing it. Maybe they did. But anyway, the boys would take the vine and just swing back and forth across the little ravine.
First thing in the morning, we would go into the
allegiance to the flag.
We
Sing a song,
we would sing,
prayer,
have a Bible scripture.
Bible scripture, because that's what we learned. We learned a lot of the Psalms when in school. That was before these days where you can't do all that, but we had a regular devotional every morning, and prayer and reciting the scripture, and the Pledge of Allegiance song. We would do that every.
Take me to the water. Take me to the water. Take me to the water to be baptized.
From the beginning, the local community has embraced this project. With their help, a 2010 reunion event was hosted at the local fire station to bring together former Hamilton Rosenwald students, former students from other Rosenwald schools within the region, and other interested supporters. Over 100 people from 9 counties, including our state representative, came out to learn more and to join forces to support the effort. The task to identify former students and those who hold pieces of our puzzle is an ongoing endeavor. Those involved in this process have likened it to a never-ending treasure hunt. We are pleased to report that, in addition to preserving the building, we have received funding to research and preserve the written and oral history associated with this site. To date, we've identified over 100 former students who currently reside from Connecticut to Texas. Some of them have been interviewed in our research process. Our search has also recovered old school photographs and books, the desk bell used by a former beloved teacher at our school, and a family recipe that was used to make soup as a school fundraiser. Additionally, project supporters have donated an African American doll in period dress, a collector's set of McGuffey readers, a book from the Dick and Jane series, and an old spelling book. These treasured items are the beginning of our collection, which will be displayed at our renovated Rosenwald River Center. One of our greatest recoveries to date is a rare segment of 1939 film which captures a moment in time filmed in a neighboring Rosenwald school. In an effort to preserve and share our story, an overview of our project and research findings has also been compiled in a book entitled Hamilton Rosenwald School Preservation Story, Preserving the Memories, the Face, and the Place. A limited supply of these books is available by contacting the author. Profits from our book sales are generating revenues for our project. Throughout our Rosenwald quest, we have made connections with kindred spirits involved in similar projects. We are grateful to all those in our region, across North Carolina, and in other southern states who are sharing this historic journey and supporting these preservation projects. The fact that some of these historic schools have endured for nearly a century is a testament to their thoughtful design and solid construction. To date, our project has received support from the Lowe's Charitable and Education Foundation Preservation Fund in partnership with the National Trust for Historic Preservation, the Conservation Fund's Resourceful Communities Program, the Covington Foundation, Mideast RC&D Council, Conservation Trust for North Carolina, Historic Hamilton Commission, Martin County Economic Development, and a host of private donors. This Rosenwald Preservation Project was also presented through both a poster session and as a featured educational session at the First National Rosenwald Conference in Tuskegee, Alabama in June of 2012. Upon completion, this historical site will be repurposed as a river center, an interpretive site to house our Rosenwald collection and to tell the Rosenwald story, and an economic incubator to cultivate ecotourism and cultural heritage initiatives throughout the region. When asked where do we go from here, our answer is we are currently working to obtain the funding necessary to complete the renovation of our school by its rapidly approaching 100th anniversary. It is our goal to celebrate the 100th anniversary of its original circa 1919 construction by hosting a grand reopening and inviting former students and interested supporters for this much anticipated homecoming event. We are happy to report that our beloved Hamilton Rosenwald School, on the National Register since 1980, is well on its way to once again serving as a vital hub in the community where it has survived for nearly a century. Initiated in 1996, Roanoke River Partners is a grassroots nonprofit organization that has been fostering rural economic development throughout the 5 northeastern North Carolina counties bordering the Roanoke River. We share our preservation model regionally and nationally as a way to cultivate sustainable ecotourism and cultural heritage based on economic enterprise in a rural environment. We welcome opportunities to tell our story in hopes of supporting and advancing similar initiatives.